Okay. So we will discuss, rediscuss the R square value today. And I will introduce one more concept called F value and P value, which is important in linear regression and in general for statistics. Okay. So what we learned was that if we have had a distribution of parameters like this, uh, then we can find a best fit line, which will be the having the sum of least squares from its from this. So this differences in the y value squared sum of the differences will be least for this line. This difference is sometimes called as residuals. Okay, residuals. So lists sum of square of residuals or sum of square of least distance. Uh, these terms are used interchangeably. Okay. So how we found that? That also I showed you. So you this, imagine this is a line with equation y is equal to mx plus c, and then what you do is you put all the x values inside this and get the corresponding y values and subtract it from the original value. So it will give you something like this mx1 plus c minus x1, sorry, y1
Square.
square. So this one you have to do a sigma of, you do it I, and you do it I here, then I is equal to 1 to n. Right? So this one differentiation with respect to m was equal to 0, and with respect to c was equal to 0. So both the equations you solve and you get the values of m and c, and that is your best fit line. So that is how we calculated the linear regression, right?
Yeah.
So now we are with, uh, now we are having this question in mind that we got a best fit line, true, but how good is this best fit line? So if I give you two examples here, so this one and this one, and in here the points are distributed like this. The points are distributed like this, and in here the points are distributed like this. Okay. Now if I find a best fit line for this will be the best fit line for this. And if I have to find a best fit line for this one will be the best fit line. Now, both are best fit lines, true. Both can be found out by the same formula, which you said. But how good is the guess from the best fit line? That is a question mark. That is the question mark. Okay. It does not guarantee that my best fit line is really the best fit line. It is the best fit line, means all from all possible lines this is the best fit, that is true, but owing to the distribution of the data, or keeping in mind how the data is scattered, uh, how well can I, how much confidence can I have on the prediction made by this best fit line? Obviously, a prediction here on the best fit line is much more than a prediction here on this best fit line, right? Because here the data is so much scattered, right? And here the data is less scattered. Okay. So data is less scattered here, data is more scattered here. Both have a best fit line, but this one gives a low confidence, whereas this one gives a high confidence. How can we statistically measure this? How can you statistically measure this and tell that my best fit line is really high confidence or not? Okay. So a sample use case can be like you are trying to do regression on a particular problem uh, question. So you have to choose between many types of regression. Then you choose first you choose linear regression, and you found the best fit line. Now question is that uh, uh, why didn't I choose logistic regression? Or why didn't I choose any other kind of regression? Why did I choose the linear regression, and why this linear regression should be considered for this problem? So maybe the logistic regression is better than the linear regression. Okay. So in that case, we have to quantify our findings that not only I found the linear best fit line, but also I found that this is statistically giving higher confidence values in predicting results. Okay. So if I compare this and this, then this is statistically high confidence than this one. So how do we find that? We find that with the help of a component or a concept called R square. Okay. So R square is the first step in determining how good a guess will be from the best fit line. Okay. So how to calculate R square? Now, step by step, I will say. Okay. First step. What we are calculating? What are we predicting? I'm doing a linear regression with bivariate. Bivariate analysis means two variables. Okay. So here is the mouse weight, and here is the mouse size. Okay. Mouse weight versus mouse size. So this is bivariate analysis. Now, if what are we trying to predict? We are trying to predict the mouse size given the mouse weight. That is the way we are drawing our best fit line, right? Given the mouse weight, what is the mouse size? Now, assuming that the mouse size, mouse weight parameter was not there. Okay. Suppose this is my distribution. This is my distribution. Okay. Now, assuming my mouse weight parameter is not there, only mouse size parameter is there. Okay. Then what happens? These are the y values. These are the mouse size values, right? That means only considering the y value and not considering the x value, right? So, these are the points. These are the points in the y-axis where it will tell me about the mouse size. Okay. Without the mouse weight, I only have the mouse size information. A bunch of mouse size information I have. Some are more, some is less. I don't have any other information. I only have mouse size, bunch of mouse size information. So this is called the mean. Just remember this term, mean. Okay. Now,
Is here the whole y-axis?
sorry, tell me again, Deepika.
This mean is this whole y line, y-axis here?
Yes. So what will happen is that so this is what? This is the fit. This is the fit. So if I have to give names to the lines, this is the fit line and this is the mean line. Okay. This is not actually the arithmetic mean of all the data points that you have, but as a terminology, remember, we call this the mean line and we call this the fit line. Okay, so this is the mean line and this is the fit line. Okay, so when I project all the points on the y-axis, I calculate a mean. I calculate a mean, right? So this is called my SS mean, a sum of squared mean. SS mean. That means sum of square. So this is the distance of all these points from this line, right? Square of all the points from this red line, right? So SS mean, right? So the data on the y-axis subtracted from the mean value of the y-axis, squared and added. Okay, so that is called SS mean. SS mean is what then? The data on the y-axis subtracted from the mean of the y-axis, then squared and added. So this is called the SS mean, sum of squared mean. Okay, sum of squared residuals mean. Okay, similarly, I will have a SS fit. So which is for the fit line, and this is nothing but these distances. Right, these are these distances. So like I had the distances calculated on the y-axis, I also calculate the distances on the fit line. Okay, so what is SS fit? SS fit is the distances, y distances of the points from the fit line, squared and added. Okay, so this is SS mean, this is SS fit. So this total squared and summation is called SS mean. This total squared and summation is called SS fit. Okay, and R square is given by the formula. Okay, before going to R square, the formula, we have to, this is just the sum of square. Now, if I have to find the variance, then what is the variance? Variance of mean. Variance of mean is nothing but SS mean divided by number of parameters, number of observations, or number of measurements. Okay, variance, total variance. This is the total difference. If I divide it by the total number of total count of measurements, then it is the variance, right? Same way, the variance of fit is also equal to the SS of fit by n. Okay, SS of fit by n. So the formula for R square is variance of mean minus variance of fit divided by variance of mean. Okay, so this is the formula of R square. Now what it is telling, if this was not there, if this factor in the equation was not there, then what will be R square? Variance of mean by variance of mean is equal to 1. That is 100%. That means my mean axis, that is my y-axis, or the axis which I am trying to predict, okay, is giving me the entire 100% variance in the data. Okay, it is giving me the entire 100% variance in the data. Okay, that means there is no confidence in my prediction of data. Okay, so that means if we where f was not there, if where f was not there, then only where mean is there. That means with only where mean, I am not able to get the 100% confidence of prediction of the data. Now tell me, when will variation of f be 0? Variation of f will be 0 when sum of squared of f will be 0. When will sum of squared of f be 0? If I have a distribution, like this. Okay, I have a distribution like this, and the best fit line is touching all the points. So what is the sum of squared errors here? 0. Variance is 0 by n, that is also 0. So here it is 0. So it is 1, that is 100%. So that means when my variance of f becomes 0, my r square value becomes 100%. That means my best fit line is top quality, is the best, have 100% confidence in predicting any future value using this line. Okay, so because it completely became 0 and I got 100% r square value. But if suppose 1 point is here, then what will happen? This one will get added in variance of b, right? So some value will get added. So here it will not be 0, it will be something less than, more than 0. So this value will not be 1, this will be something very close to 1, say 0.95 or 95% like this. So that means now this line, now this best fit line, I can predict my future data using this best fit line with a confidence of 95%. Okay, now suppose more dots come and the line becomes more white, means the distribution becomes more scattered, so the errors will increase. And what will happen? This error will increase, then the SS fit, the SS fit value will also increase. When the SS fit value will increase, then the variance also will increase. When the variance will increase, then the r square value will become small, and that indirectly tells me that this best fit line is having a lower confidence in predicting the future value of mouse size from mouse weight, right? So when will be the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario will be when the mean of the y-axis and the best fit line are the same, right? Suppose I have like this and I have distribution like this. So this is the mean of y-axis, means SS mean, and this is also the mean, this is also the fit line. Okay. Now what will happen? So var of m minus var of f will be what? 0.
Yeah.
So when it will be 0, then r square will be 0. That means I have no confidence on what will be my weight of the mouse depending on the size. And that is true because whatever be the size, the weight is constant here, right? It's a straight line. So that means if I say mouse is 2 centimeter, it is 200 grams. If a mouse is 10 centimeter also, it is 200 grams. So that means I have no confidence in the line, in this line. I have no confidence because it is giving me the same value for all my mouse size. So this has no variability, this has no variance, this is not capturing any information, and this is a junk line, and I have 0% confidence on how good this line is fitting my data. Okay, so the two extremes are that when your fit line fits all the points, passes through all the points, then your R square is 100%. That is the best fit, and you are the best confidence. And when your fit line is the same as the mean line, then your R square is 0%, which is the least confidence, where you don't have any confidence. And then in between, you will have multiple values of R square, depending on which how good is the fit line, you will know. So obviously this factor decides everything, because numerator, these two things are constant, right? So what is changing? What is affecting the equation? The value of variance of f is affecting the equation. So the more higher the variance of f, the lower the confidence. The lower the variance of f, the better the confidence, right? So that means if my data is much scattered around the fit line, then I have low confidence. If my data is tightly scattered around my fit line, then I have higher confidence. Now, one thing is that we all know that variance is equal to SS by M. So here SS by, so here I can write, instead of var, I can write SS by M. Here also I can write SS by M. And here also I can write SS by M. So that means R square, we need not to calculate variance. We can directly from SS mean only we can calculate, because all have a common denominator n, which will cancel out. So SS mean minus SS fit by SS mean. Okay, so this is also the formula for R square. This is also the formula for R square. Okay. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay.
I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so R square, like this score we calculate when we do the training and testing, we calculate always on training data, right? Not after the testing data.
Your voice is not very clear. It looks like you're speaking from very far away.
Yeah, is it fine now?
Little better. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so when we calculate the R square, so we calculate on the training data or test data?
Same data. You have to calculate on the same data. Otherwise, there is statistically insignificant, right? Because there is no statistical meaning of that data, because you are calculating on two different samples. Okay, so you have to always calculate on the same sample. Okay.
Okay, and in the same example where you have given the MW and ML, so if one more feature is included in this graph, so the formula will be same, right? Still remain same, right?
Come again.
Yeah. So here you have given one x and one y, right? One input and one output. If I introduce one more input, like in case of
That is called multiple regression. I'll tell you about it.
yeah. So in that case, Upstairs formula will change or it will remain same.
It will change. The formula will change a little bit, but I will tell you what is the change and how to read it.
Okay.
Okay. So now there is a value called Z. Okay. There is a value called Z. So Z is equal to SS mean minus SS fit whole divided by P fit minus P mean whole divided by SS fit divided by N minus P fit. Okay. So this is a new parameter called Z. We saw sum of squared SS. We saw variance SS by N. We saw x square, R square, and now we are seeing Z. Okay. So this formula is very similar to R square formula, but both the numerator and the denominator of R square are divided by some extra terms. Okay. So this much is the same numerator part of R square formula, which is divided by one extra term here. Okay, what is this? I'll tell you. And similarly, the denominator also is the same. SS fit was there. It is also divided by an extra term here. Okay, so let us see what is this actually. Okay, so now P of F is equal to the number of parameters of the fit line. How many number of variables are there in the fit line? Imran?
There's two variables, right?
Right. Slope and y-intercept.
Yes.
So the value of PF is equal to 2. So the number of variables in the fit line is equal to the PF value. Similarly, for the mean, that is the y-axis, what was the parameter? Only M. Because if you remember, this was the y-axis and this was the mean. The equation was y equals to M. So the number of parameters, sorry, y is equal to C. Sorry. Y is equal to C. So the slope was 0 degree, we all know. So there is no slope, only the y-intercept we wanted. So here Pm or P mean is equal to 1. Okay. So PF is 2 and P mean is 1. So ultimately, which subtracts from each other becomes 1. Okay. So that means the numerator is the same as the numerator of R square. Okay. And in here, N is equal to the number of measurements done. Suppose there are 10 measurements done. Measurements means these points. Okay. And PF is equal to 2. So N minus PF is equal to 8. So now my numerator remains the same as r square, but my denominator reduces 8 times, right? My numerator remains the same as r square, whereas my denominator reduces 8 times. So this one, so z, we will expect z to be a very, very large value.
We can also say it is r square into 8.
Yes, we can say that for this case, when multiple regression comes, these values will be different.
Okay, okay.
So what happens here is that whatever be the situation, my due to this factor, the denominator becomes a very small number, and hence the z becomes a very, very large number. Okay, and the rule says if the fit is good, then f is a really, really large number. Okay, so f is really, really large number if the fit is good. Okay, that is also true because this is the factor which will determine the value of z, like it was determining the value of r square. This one also will determine the value of z. So here there is a little bit of difference from r square, but just remember the formula of z till until now. The value of z is actually used to calculate another value called p value. This is what is the more important statistics value that we want to know. This is just an intermediate parameter. Okay, so how we will calculate p value from z, that one I'll tell you. For now, just remember the formula of z is this, and remember that if z is a very large number, then we are having a good fit. Okay, so this is z. Then okay, so now let's move to multiple regression. Okay, so multiple regression. Multiple regression, simple example. In the same thing, we had mouse weight, and with respect to mouse weight, we were calculating the mouse size, length, mouse length. Now suppose I added one more parameter here, that is the tail length of the mouse. Okay, so I said that okay, I was measuring mouse length with respect to mouse weight, and that was a bivariate linear regression, a simple linear regression. Now I add one more dimension to it called tail length, and I say that based on this, I will have readings that for this mouse weight and this tail length, what is the mouse length, right? So now my points will be points in a three-dimensional space rather than a two-dimensional space. Those will be my readings are a points in a three-dimensional space, where each point tells me what is the mouse length given the mouse weight and given the mouse tail length, right? So tell me, what will be the best fit here? Will it be a line or a plane?
It's a plane,
Right.
3-dimensional.
So since we are in 3 dimension, so the best fit will no more be a line, but it will be a plane like this. be a plane like this. Okay. So everything else is the same. These lines are also from perpendicular distance from the plane. That is called the error or the residual. Okay, some points are below the line and some points are above the line. Okay, but not the line, plane. Some points are below the plane, some points are above the plane, but ultimately it is the plane. So when I'm going to multiple regression from linear simple regression, what is happening? My number of dimensions or parameters are increasing, and my linear regression, which was a line in the first situation, has now become a plane. So if I will have 4 parameters, then what will be my best fit? My best fit will be a cube, right? And so on. It will keep on increasing with the dimensions. But we cannot view more than 3 dimensions, so we cannot draw that in the board. But it is very well possible that we have multiple parameters using which we are predicting the mouse length. So here we are using mouse weight and tail length. We can very well use the mouse age also. Another parameter we can add. But since we cannot visualize that in a 2-dimensional screen, I cannot draw it. But very well it can be drawn. Means imagined about. So intuitively you can think that, okay, now 3 parameters are determining the length of the mouse. Initially it was only mouse weight, then it was mouse weight and its tail length. Now it is mouse weight, tail length, and the age of the mouse. So we are keeping on adding more parameters to the model. And to fit that model, first one straight line was enough. Second case, one plane was enough. Third case, it will be a cube. Fourth case, whatever it will be in the 4-dimensional, whatever we see, that will be the structure. Okay. So, but multiple regression does not stop at 3 dimension because we cannot draw more than 3 dimension. It has no limit. We can have n number of dimensions for a multiple linear regression. The only point is that we cannot visualize it on a 2-dimensional screen, but they exist. Okay, and all the principles apply to them as before. So the R-square formula is the same as the R-square formula of the simple linear regression. So what it was? It was SS mean minus SS fit by SS mean. Here my mean axis is this one, right? This is what I'm trying to predict, right? I'm trying to predict the mouse length, right? And what is my fit? Fit, now fit is no more a line but a plane, and these are the sum of squares of the plane, and I'll add all of them. Okay, so similarly I have the formula for Z also, same formula, divided by so this will be like SS mean minus SS fit divided by P fit minus P mean divided by SS mean divided by n minus P fit. Same formula R. Now only difference is what is PF value here? How many parameters are there for the best fit plane?
3 parameters.
3 parameters. Good. And what is the value of PM here?
1.
Good. So you see the numerator now is divided by 2. In the previous example, it was divided by 1. Here it is divided by 2. That means Z value will be little less here, right? So the more number of parameters we keep on adding to our model, our Z value keeps on decreasing. And that means what? That is very good in according to the whatever belief we have. The more number of parameters you add, the less the confidence becomes to fit a simple geometrical shape like a plane or a line to the data, right? So when I'm only having 2 axes, it is one line is making more sense. When I am having 3 axes, the plane is having okay, but line was better. Plane is little more means points, maybe the degree of freedom of the points is higher here, right? So the error is more here. Chances of error is more here. I add 4 parameters, then the chances of error is little more there. So then this problem, this equation says that the more parameters you add to your model, the lower the confidence goes for your prediction. Okay, so which is correct, right? So these are all trade-offs. So trade-offs in doing a machine learning model. So when I should use linear regression, when I should use multiple regression, whether I should use multiple regression or not, whether the tail length is actually statistically adding some real value to the mouse length or not, or mouse weight was enough, right? So such types of decisions you can make with the help of uh, this type of parameters R square and Z and all this. Okay. So one thing is there that comparing linear regression with multiple regression tells us if it is worth the time and trouble to collect the tail length data, right? So we in simple regression we had only mouse weight and mouse length. In multiple regression we added one more information called tail length. So that means what? We did an extra effort to catch all the mouses and measure their tails in a scale. Now, if I compare the two regressions, first is a simple linear regression and second is a multiple linear regression. If I compare these two regressions, I can statistically find out that whether comparing the tails of calculating the tails of the mouse was a good effort or not. Calculating the f value is the exact same as before, only this time we replace the mean staff with simple regression. So for a minute. Okay. So here the difference in the R square values between the simple and multiple regression, if it is very big, then adding the tail to the model was worth the trouble. So suppose mouse weight versus mouse length R square, we got say something like 20. Mouse length, tail length, and mouse weight, tail length and mouse weight, we got R square is equal to say something around 80. Then I'll tell that okay, this made sense. It is useful to add this one. But if I got here same 20 or say 10, then I will tell that no, this was not giving any value. This can happen, right? Because suppose I did mouse weight, sorry, mouse length, sorry, mouse weight, mouse length, and room temperature. So room temperature has nothing to do with mouse weight and mouse length, right? But still I added that as a parameter. So there, if you see, R square will not be a large value. It will be somewhere around say 5 or 6 like this, which will be less than this also. So that means what? Adding that variable to our model decreased the confidence that we had in our model. So we have to remove this. But if I add mouse age, then R square may become 100. In that case, I'll tell, okay, this is a very good addition. So let's keep it. Okay. So this is how multiple regression, you keep on adding the variables. So you are solving a problem. In that problem, first list down all the variables. But statistically, you are not sure which variable is affecting the final result more, right? You don't know which variable is affecting more and which variable is junk and which variable is good. So R square or Z value is a good way to know that after adding a certain parameter, my R square or Z value is increased or decreased, and accordingly I will keep that variable or I will not keep that variable. Okay, so that will give you the guidance of designing your linear regression model. Okay. Okay. Now there are more concepts called t-tests and ANOVA, which we will take down later. I'll stop the recording now and let us solve a linear regression problem using machine learning tools. Okay.